On Sunday afternoon, after Mary Magdalene and the other women went to the tomb of Jesus and found it empty, two of the disciples of Jesus, their names aren't given, were on the road walking to a town called Emmaus. Emmaus was about 7 miles away from Jerusalem. So they had a pretty good walk ahead of them. It was a downhill walk, and they walked probably at a fairly fast pace. They were discussing the events that had gone on when all of a sudden they were joined by Jesus. I don't know if Jesus met them at a crossroads or what. But Jesus asked them what they were talking about as they walked along, and it said the men stopped and they looked down at their feet and they were dismayed. And they asked Jesus, "Are you just a stranger around here and you don't know what's happened?" And they went on to tell Jesus about all that had happened, about how the one named Jesus had been arrested by the leaders and been handed over and had been crucified, and how they had hoped that he would be the one to redeem Israel. And they talked about, even now, this morning, it's been 3 days, some of our women went to the tomb and found it empty. And then some of our men went and found it empty as well, just as the women had said. Jesus told them, you don't understand the scriptures. And Jesus started there as they were walking along, teaching from the books of Moses and teaching from the prophets, everything that the Bible, the Old Testament, had to say about him, the Messiah. When they got to Emmaus, it was getting on towards supper time, and they begged Jesus to stay. They didn't know who he was. The Bible says they were kept from recognizing him. They begged Jesus to stay. He acted like he was going to go on farther, and so he did stay to eat a bite with them. And Jesus, when the bread was served, he took the bread and he blessed it, and he broke it, and he gave it to them. Something that they, being disciples, would have seen before, at least when Jesus fed the multitude. And at that moment, they recognized who Jesus was. And just that quick, he disappeared from their sight. The Bible tells us that they got up and they headed back to Jerusalem, another 7 miles, another 7 miles walking. This time it's all uphill, but they went very quickly to tell the 11, the apostles, that they had seen the risen Lord. Sometimes in the midst of all the troubles of life that we go through, and the good Lord knows that we're going through a lot right now, sometimes we forget who's with us. We forget who's holding our hand. I like what the song says, the old gospel song. Many things about tomorrow I don't seem to understand, but I know who holds tomorrow, and I know who holds my hand. God bless.